Did you ever wonder which countries truly stand by the Philippines, not just in words but in action? When disaster strikes, who sends aid first? When the South China Sea heats up, who stands beside the Filipino people? Who supports Filipino education, infrastructure, and defense year after year? In this video, we dive deep into the top 10 countries that always stand with the Philippines. You'll be shocked to see who's consistently loyal and why. So who really has the Philippines back? Let's find out together. Number 10. France. France is quickly becoming one of the Philippines' most promising new partners. Though ties were modest in the past, relations have dramatically grown since 2015. In 2023, the two countries signed defense cooperation agreements, and France expressed support for Philippine sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. France provided over $11 million in aid during major disasters, including Typhoon Odette in 2021. Its development agency, French Development Agency, committed $270 million for climate and transportation projects in Manila from 2020 to 2025. Trade between the two nations rose to $2 billion in 2022, with France investing in clean energy, aerospace, and agriculture. In 2023, the Philippines purchased air defense radar systems from Thales Group worth around $110 million. France also backs education through French government scholarships and cultural exchange programs, bringing Filipino artists and students to Europe. Over 55,000 Filipinos now reside in France. In diplomatic forums, France consistently pushes for international maritime law and denounces illegal actions in the South China Sea, echoing Manila's position. France is rising fast as a trusted European ally, quiet before but now firmly in the Philippines' corner. Number 9. Singapore. Singapore may be small in size, but its support for the Philippines is big in impact. In 2022, bilateral trade reached an impressive $24.2 billion, making Singapore the second largest investor in the Philippines. The Singapore-Philippines Business Council promotes more than 100 joint ventures in tech, finance, and real estate. During COVID-19, Singapore donated over 100,000 test kits, ventilators, and $500,000 in direct financial assistance. In 2013, after Typhoon Yolanda, Singapore dispatched civil defense teams, aid packages, and $1 million in cash donations. More than 200,000 Filipinos live and work in Singapore, mostly in IT, healthcare, and domestic work. Singapore has robust labor protection laws, and it collaborates with the Philippines on labor rights through memorandums of understanding signed in 2019 and 2023. Singapore also offers ASEAN scholarships, and its universities welcome hundreds of Filipino students annually. Technological training programs have helped thousands of Filipinos upskill for global work. Diplomatically, Singapore supports freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, aligning with the Philippines' stance in multiple Asian meetings. Singapore may be quiet in tone, but strong in action, consistently boosting the Philippines' economy and people. Number 8. Indonesia. The largest country in Asia is more than just a neighbor, it's a brother to the Philippines. As founding members of ASEAN, both nations have worked closely since 1967. Their relationship is grounded in regional security, trade, and cultural exchange. In 2023, bilateral trade reached $9.5 billion, with Indonesia exporting fuel and raw materials, while the Philippines supplies electronics and machinery. Indonesia helped supply over 60,000 metric tons of rice during Philippines shortages in 2018 and 2022, strengthening food security. On defense, the 2014 Trilateral Maritime Patrol Agreement among Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines targets piracy and terrorism in the Sulu-Sulawesi seas. Indonesia has also sold military hardware like the CN-235 aircraft to the Philippines. During natural disasters, Indonesia has delivered aid swiftly. It sent humanitarian teams and food assistance after Typhoon Odette in 2021. Educational ties are growing too. Indonesia offers fully funded Dharmasian scholarships, allowing Filipinos to study in various Indonesian universities. Both countries continue to advocate for ASEAN unity, a peaceful Indo-Pacific, and a stable South China Sea, rejecting aggression and illegal occupation. Indonesia is not just a partner, it's a regional sibling. Number 7. Germany. Germany is one of the top European nations that supports the Philippines economically and through disaster relief. In 2022, Germany ranked as the largest EU trading partner of the Philippines, with $4.7 billion in two-way trade. Germany has provided over $325 million in development aid to the Philippines since 2010, focusing on climate change, health, and peace building. After Typhoon Haiyan in 2013, Germany gave over $40 million in emergency aid and sent technical teams through GIZ and THW, Federal Agency for Technical Relief. Germany also funded the Bangsamoro peace process, contributing 10 million euros for conflict resolution and development programs in Mindanao between 2018 and 2022. German medical and solar projects now support remote areas in Luzon and Visayas. Educational ties include DAAD scholarships, where more than 200 Filipinos per year study or research in Germany. Meanwhile, over 75,000 Filipinos live and work in Germany, mostly in the healthcare and engineering sectors. Germany also champions the Philippines' maritime rights and democratic values in European Union policy circles, showing that their support goes beyond trade. Germany remains a balanced friend, offering aid, economic strength, and diplomacy. Number 6. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom may not always make headlines in Philippines affairs, but its role is quietly impactful. From 2010 to 2023, the UK provided over $380 million in aid and development funding to the Philippines. A significant portion focuses on climate change, education, and disaster resilience. After Typhoon Haiyan, the UK donated $100 million and deployed the Royal Navy's HMS Illustrious to deliver supplies and rescue aid. The UK-Philippines Partnership for Clean Growth, launched in 2021, promises £150 million for renewable energy and climate adaptation projects by 2026. Trade between the two countries was $2.3 billion in 2022, and the UK continues to invest in fintech, healthcare, and clean energy in the Philippines. In 2023, they jointly explored cybersecurity cooperation, an emerging area in Philippine-UK ties. There are over 200,000 Filipinos in the UK, significantly contributing to the healthcare system, especially during COVID-19, where Filipino nurses were hailed as heroes. The UK also stands with the Philippines on maritime law and rules-based order in the South China Sea, reaffirming support in several UN and ASEAN forums. Though less vocal, the UK's support is steady, strategic, and valuable. Number 5. Canada. Canada has consistently supported the Philippines in human rights development and disaster relief. From 2015 to 2023, Canada provided over 300 million Canadian dollars in development aid focused on governance, gender equality, and climate change. During Typhoon Haiyan in 2013, Canada gave over 85 million Canadian dollars in humanitarian support and deployed the Disaster Assistance Response Team. In 2021, it contributed 3 million Canadian dollars to help with COVID-19 vaccination rollouts in the Philippines. Canada supports education through over 120 scholarships per year for Filipinos via its Canada ASEAN scholarships and educational exchanges for development programs. Trade between the countries reached $2.3 billion in 2022, and Canada's exploring new investment opportunities in mining, green energy, and BPO sectors. Over 1 million Filipinos now live in Canada, forming one of the largest Filipino diasporas outside the U.S. Canada also supports Philippine sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea and backs international maritime law. Its foreign policy toward the Philippines is people-focused, aiming to empower communities and promote equality. Canada's approach combines aid, migration support, and principled diplomacy. Number 4. South Korea. South Korea has emerged as a vital partner for the Philippines, not just in pop culture but also in economics, defense, and tourism. Bilateral trade hit $15.5 billion in 2022, making Korea the fourth largest trading partner. In 2022, Korea committed $3 billion in official development assistance by 2027 to support infrastructure, health, and climate resilience. Korean companies are heavily involved in energy, transport, and telecom sectors. The Halal River Multi-Purpose Project is a key example, funded by Korea to provide irrigation and power in Visayas. Over 2 million Korean tourists visited the Philippines in 2019, the highest from any country. Korea also sent aid during typhoons, donating $5 million for Yolanda victims in 2013 and $1 million during Typhoon Odette in 2021. In 2023, the Philippines bought 2 new corvettes from South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries, part of a $556 million defense deal to modernize the Navy. Over 30,000 Filipinos study or work in South Korea, showing deep people-to-people connections that go beyond geopolitics. South Korea proves that partnership can be both warm and strategic. Number 3. Australia. Australia has quietly become one of the most dependable supporters of the Philippines in the Indo-Pacific. The two countries formalized ties with a status of visiting forces agreement in 2007 and upgraded their defense ties to a strategic partnership in 2023. From 2017 to 2022, Australia provided over $510 million in aid to the Philippines, including 150 million Australian dollars during the COVID-19 crisis. In education, Australia supports 20,000 Filipino scholars and has invested over 100 million Australian dollars in technical and vocational education. In the Marawi siege of 2017, Australia provided aerial surveillance, helping Filipino troops reclaim the city. The country also supports counterterrorism efforts in Mindanao with ongoing funding and training. Trade between the two nations reached $4.3 billion in 2022, with Australian investments in agriculture, mining, and education. In 2023, Australia reaffirmed its commitment to freedom of navigation in the South China Sea, standing with the Philippines in opposing illegal maritime activities. Australia's commitment isn't just diplomatic, it's practical, consistent, and tailored to real need. Number 2, Japan. Japan has consistently stood by the Philippines as a top donor, especially through the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Since 2000, Japan has given over $9.5 billion in official development assistance to the Philippines. During Typhoon Yolanda, Japan gave $52 million in relief and deployed medical teams and equipment. In 2020, Japan extended $500 million in emergency COVID-19 support. Japan is the second largest trading partner, with trade reaching $24.2 billion in 2022. Japanese companies also invest heavily in manufacturing and BPO sectors, creating over 300,000 Filipino jobs. The Subic-Clark Railway project, funded by Japan, is worth $940 million, part of the Build program. Japan also supports the Philippines Coast Guard, delivering 12 patrol vessels from 2016 to 2022. Japan's diplomacy is quiet but impactful, always backing peaceful resolutions in the South China Sea, as seen in its 2023 joint statement with the US and Philippines. With a mix of infrastructure, trade, defense, and disaster relief, Japan proves to be a solid friend in both crisis and development. Number 1, United States of America. The US and the Philippines have one of the longest-standing alliances in Asia, dating back to the Philippine-American War, 1899-1902, and later solidified with the Mutual Defense Treaty of 1951. That treaty guarantees both nations will help each other if either is attacked. In terms of military support, the U.S. has provided over $1.14 billion in security assistance to the Philippines from 2015 to 2023. In 2023 alone, the U.S. gave over $100 million in military aid. American troops regularly participate in Bala Katan, the largest annual joint military exercise, involving over 17,600 troops in 2023. During natural disasters like Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, the U.S. sent over 13,400 military personnel, 66 aircraft, and 12 ships, contributing more than $143 million in aid. The U.S. is also the Philippines' third largest trade partner, with bilateral trade reaching $22.6 billion in 2022. Educational ties are strong too. Over 3,320 Filipino students studied in the U.S. in 2023, making it one of the top destinations for higher education. This deep and historical bond is reinforced by shared democratic values, security goals, and millions of Filipino Americans in the U.S. So now you know who truly stands with the Philippines through disaster, development, and diplomacy. From the U.S. to France, these allies are more than friends, they're lifelines. If you found this surprising or inspiring, like, subscribe, and comment below which country shocked you most. Thanks for watching.